Hello, and welcome back to Part 2B of the National Sport Trust Fund Ontario overview of the NSTF project application form. We're just overviewing and working through steps 1 and 2 to 3 in the first 2A video, and just about to click and move on. I've just, obviously you guys would fill this all up with well and great relevant information. I'm just going to go to the next step. We are asking that if anybody is making certain donations to certain things that they fill in this information. Right now I've answered everything no, but let's just say, for example, that I answered the donations would be conditional if they were sport a specific athlete, and I would say yes, and maybe I'd fill in the information to let know why or how. If it was something else, it's obviously asking if the answer is yes to any of the above questions, please submit a more detailed explanation. So let's just say no for now for everything. But if you had to put in something, well, I will. I'll just put in Fred Smith, just so that you see that it ends up in the database with whatever you submitted. The last part is that we're asking everybody that's part of this to have somebody that's assigned as a fund administrator that will interact with NSTF-Ontario fund manager, myself, Christopher Locock, and that those people are identified and we capture their names. So I'm actually going to be that fictitious person myself. Again, I'll put in my own name. You can see that the system's pretty robust in picking up any stored information that you might have in the system. And you're asked to give an e-signature. If you're working from a tablet or a screen that you can touch screen, this will be a lot easier, but literally with your mouse and your keyboard, you can just identify and put in a scribble here. At least it takes a picture of a signature and keeps it on file. It's a requirement of the CRA. So just the last bit is an overview of letting you know what you're getting into and so forth. But you see, when I make the final submission, that a robust thank you page comes up, and each one will be different. So it's noticed that my first name was Christopher, that I made the application on behalf of Test Sports Club, that it's giving me a submission number of submission 51. And so if this is the record that will be utilized in the donor form, it will also be the record ID that will be used in the donor form. It will also be used as part of your invoice number. It will also be part of your project approval. So this is just a little overview of what you need to do, your next steps, and lets you know that you're also going to be getting an email from us, and we'll go look at that email. But it's also stating that if you made this submission, and it's a member club of a PSO, that an email will be generated and sent to the NS or the PSO for their approval. So let's go into my emails right now. So that was the end of basically that scenario there. And I might get this to come up as a pop-up separate, not built into the system, but for now, let's get these emails going, and we'll have a look at what I received from making a submission. Probably should have had this going. Going to pause for a moment. And so, as I pause that, I did get a number of emails. So let's look at the first email. I believe that when I filled in the form, that I used my DYM Systems email. So this is the email that I got from the system. It's thanking me. Hello again, Christopher from Test Sports Club. Sport for Ontario thanks you for your National Sport Trust Fund application submission. Again, it's showing that same submission number. Below is a summary of the information submitted. So it reviews everything that we received, and also there's an email attached with an invoice. So you're directed to open that up, print it out, and mail it to this address along with your check for $50. So let's have a quick look at that PDF. So this PDF is a secure PDF. It can't be changed. And it's basically saying that here's your invoice number. Geez, it's the same number as the submission number, and so forth. So it just gives you some insight as to what to do, the next steps. So that's that. I'll close that off and down. I'm going to look at another email. So remember that we created Test PSO, and the email address for Test PSO was Test Sports Club. When we made an application just now under Test PSO, the group that we made said the member club was Test Sports Club. So now it's saying, oh, geez, to the PSO. This is what's been sent to the PSO, because this is the email that I use for the PSO. It says, and I'm not using people's first names from the PSOs because that's just the way it is. So it's just your email address. And it's letting you know that so-and-so from such organization has made a submission. Again, it's logging and showing you their submission number. It's asking you to approve this. So here is basically what you'd click on as a PSO contact. You'd basically be given their entire application. You'd see what they clicked on, everything that they filled in, and be able to review it here as part of what you've seen. And then you go to the next page, and so on, and so on. And again, you can see, remember I put in Fred Smith, and then that would be it. There'd be nothing else for you to, at the end, there's no submission button for any of you to hit or anything. It's like either reject the submission or approve it. So I'm going to approve it on behalf of the PSO that I represent. And now it says that it's has sent an email to DYM Systems with the notification of this decision. Well, I'm going to pull up that email. Before we leave this environment, I also used this email. I got an email that was sent to probably the NSTF email. Well, actually, I used a different email. I used Discan as a test email to let, these would be the people that were on the selection committee. They're getting a copy of the submissions, and they'll be able to review all the information that was garnered in the questions and come back to me as members of the selection committee to approve and or reject it. So that's another email. And then finally, let's just get a update, another thing. We're going to get another email that's just been sent to us at DYM Systems saying that, remember we created something called Test PSO? Well, you've been endorsed by them. In other words, they've received your submission and they've endorsed you, and it's reminding you that this is just step one. Please send in your $50 and then wait for 3 weeks for our selection committee to approve your submission. So let's go into the application database, look at what was gathered, and you'll see all of the information there that was gathered, so on and so forth. And after it was sent to the PSO for approval, there's their approval and the date, and it's captured all of that information. So for now, I'm going to stop this video and end part 2B.